offer you a warm welcome this morning to our Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. We're so glad to have you here. My name is Kristen, and I'll be your platform assistant as well as your meditation guide. And our theme for 2024 is a grand rising. This month, our focus is on the unstatus quo. And today's message is the truth about wholeness and disability, led by our beloved spiritual director, Reverend Charlene Banks. And if you are joining us into this room, we ask that if you have a prayer request or celebration that you'd like us to mention in our form of affirmative prayer, you can type it into the chat. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we officially begin our service with this welcoming video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless the sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
Great. And now I'm going to lead you with a meditation. And so I invite you to minimize distractions in your environment. So maybe close the door, get a comfortable seat. And we're going to begin just by sitting up straight with your spine supported, maybe sitting in a chair. Taking your hands, and if you can, I like to close my eyes during this whole meditation, but if you feel like you want yours open, you can. Closing your eyes, putting your hands face down on your lap, just resting them gently there. And we're going to just begin by noticing the breath. Not trying to control it. And just noticing that the body takes care of you. There are things happening all the time that you don't have to think about. And so with the thoughts that come around, if you notice that thoughts are getting into your mind, no need to follow them, just letting them fall and dropping more aware into the breath. I was recently at the ocean. I did this meditation where I matched my breath to the waves. So as the wave came in, I breathed in. And as the wave let out, I breathed out. And I just imagine that as you're breathing in, without trying to count or make the breath do anything, just feeling that natural rise and fall of the breath, you can actually take yourself into a place where you let light or love or even clarity or emptiness wash in, come in through the in-breath. And then with the out-breath, letting go and relaxing more, letting the shoulders drop, letting everything settle, letting the body be still. Imagine that just washing through you. So one of the meditations I did with a word was like clear, breathing in, clear, breathing out, a reset. And after you've done this a few beats where you've breathed in and breathed out, bringing your awareness to the energy of the body, trying to feel when you breathe in, energy coming in or starting at the root of your body.
Pardon me? It kind of looks like a tie-dye, but I thought it was.
Letting that energy come up through the feet, up through the body, up through to the shoulders and the crown of the head. And then with the release, letting that energy settle down again. So again, breathing in, letting that energy flow up, breathing out, letting that energy fall down, settle. Thinking may come up, and if thoughts come up, again, they settle with the out breath. And just bringing your awareness back to that breath pattern of taking in a clarity or a clearness, letting go, letting it out, a release. When you feel that energy in the body from the inside out, you can feel yourself letting it expand out into the room around you. Just asking to let yourself be aware of that energy flow. You might be able to feel it expanding and contracting as you breathe in and out. So breathing in, it expands. And breathing out, it retracts. And this energy that you bring out is clear. It's oneness. It's connection. It's all the peace. Coming back to the in-breath as it goes in, you feel that energy flowing up. And flowing down, letting it go, releasing. Feeling the energy around you, in you. Everything in harmony. Doesn't take much to do this meditation. It's just focusing your attention on the breath. And imagining that the grounding of the out breath brings you more in connection with the planet. With the in breath, more connection with the cosmos. The universe within. One final breath, just more conscious, more full. Start to come back to the time and place we are now. And so just being more conscious of the breath. Maybe wiggling the fingers a bit. Fluttering the eyes open. Placing your hand on your heart. And just feeling that calm, that peace, that moment of being in complete connection. Namaste.
Before there was me, before there was you, before potted plants or elephants in any room, before there was light, before there was sky, there was silence. And with a bang, everything changed. It's been an age since then, but here we are under this star. Light made of dreams and out of dust. Look at the seas and galaxies. You'll just see us, you'll just see us, you'll just see us. Before the start, the stuff of stars was pure potential. Oh, but here we are, our phones, our cars, our late night bars, our hopes and our fears, and all of our tears. Once in a while, we don't recall just who we are, but we are made of stars, made of stars.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, that was amazing. Good morning and welcome to Sunday morning yet again, last Sunday of August. We are made of stars. Did you guys see how the coral looked just like neurons? The coral in the ocean looked just like the neurons in our brains. I love that kind of stuff. What great visuals Leah always has for us. So welcome. And thank you, Kristen, for that meditation. That was just sublime. You've definitely got some skills. And good morning. Today's topic is the final, I guess, thread of our monthly thread. And we're talking about wholeness. We're talking about the unstatus quo. And what perfect way to end it. This talk is all about the so-called disabilities. But let's talk about the truth about that. And what does science of mind tell us when it comes to wholeness and physical ability versus disability? And as you can already hear it coming, Ernest Holmes absolutely says there is one divine wholeness acting in and through each and every one of us. He didn't say, except for people who need assistive devices to walk or to move forward, I should say, or to hear or to see. It didn't say except for. No. In fact, I actually will offer to you that it's possibly a divine plan to have different abilities in our midst. And that when spiritual communities forget to include all types of people, when all of their pictures on their website show people jumping and nobody's in a wheelchair, like, what are we doing right now? Like, yeah, all of it exists. Let's do everything. Let's round it out. When we look at that, we think, wow, the status quo sometimes allows society to just put blinders on and pretend we don't see people who are differently abled. It reminds me of a story that many ministers tell this story. You've heard this story from me before, and I've heard it from Reverend Michael Beckwith over at Agape. And he said, you know what the difference between heaven and hell is? And everybody's like, tell us. And he goes, heaven is like a place where, let's imagine all people didn't have the use of elbows. Their arms didn't bend. And so everybody's walking around with their arms straight. And heaven is a place where, in order to eat at the buffet, you would take your straight arm, put the food onto your plate, and then feed it to another person. That's heaven. Everybody feeds each other. Hell is where everybody's mad because look at all this food and we can't eat. Look at all this food. We can't feed ourselves without just sticking our face in there. We can't get the spoon to our own mouth. Oh, but I can get my spoon to your mouth. And if you could get your spoon to my mouth, let's go. Now all you got to do is find somebody with equally length arms. I'm thinking that's the next logistic issue, right? But think about it. And then I thought, all right, well, see, so that analogy falls flat because in this life, we don't all have the same different ability. Because the universe is vastly creative in infinite ways. My different way of showing up might not even be visible. I might have ADHD, or I might have bipolar disorder, or I might have something else. And it's not visible, but I definitely am not the typical person. And then when it shows up, people don't know what to do because they don't know what they're working with. Additionally, some of us may not be able to walk. So we're using assistive devices to move forward. And then we roll up to a staircase and then feel a little bit left out. How am I supposed to navigate a staircase when I don't have the same way of moving forward as you? So now we've got to figure out how to accommodate. So the thing is, there's visible disabilities and then there's invisible disabilities. So now this world of heaven has got to include some sort of noticing. We got to notice each other. I've got to notice that you stopped rolling when you got to the top of the staircase, which is the big plaza in Pennsylvania. I'm just making stuff up. And it's got 16 steps going down. There's no way you're going to get down those stairs. And so you're sitting at the staircase like, And people are walking by, they've got their bags, they're on the phone and they're looking and just kind of, they see you, but I don't want to get involved. I see you, I could help you, but look at the time, gotta go. How do we show up in a world where it's not equal? It's not equal. Don't get me started on racial inequalities because I'll go down that rabbit hole and I don't know if I have time today. So the idea is, how do we, in a world where our abilities and disabilities are invisible, or often when visible, inconvenient, what heaven can we create on earth in a scenario like that? And I kind of think it comes down to two things. The first thing is important. We've got to know that if we're here on this planet, we are valuable. We are already whole from a spirit standpoint. We've got to know that we can't let the body distract the truth about who we are. So that's the first thing we've got to know. If we're here, we're valuable. Listen to Greta Thunberg. She said, I have Asperger's, which means I'm sometimes different from the norm. Given the right circumstances, though, being different is a superpower. Can we recognize the difference in others? And the second piece, grab them and bring them in. Not grab them physically, obviously, but include others in our hearts, in our minds. Stay curious about their experience, get to know people. And then, because we're whole as spiritual beings, nobody is born partially a person. We've got to separate ourselves from our external appearance. We've got to start knowing that we identify as a higher something bigger than that. And so if we can do that, knowing that everybody on this planet is here by divine order, then second, that is my brother, sister, everybody can support everybody else in a way that can look different. It's allowed to look different each time. That equality, treating people equally amazing, doesn't mean I have to treat everybody exactly the same. I could give people what they need in the moment that they need it, and have the other thing I give next time look completely different because I was in the moment. And so that requires me to be present. Not only am I coming from something whole, perfect, and complete, this divine spirit that stuffed itself in and called itself Charlene, I get to show up in a way that is specifically useful and of service for each individual person. That means I have to listen, I have to notice, I have to be interested in. And it becomes, I get to listen. I get to be open. I get to include other people's experiences into my feelings of being alive in this world. And how does that animate me just a little differently? It's a two-way street. I give, they receive, they give back, I receive. When someone's giving to me, I say yes and thank you. And then I give again to someone else. It's just a big old reciprocal pie that we're all taking part in. Now, this is easy to think about in terms of, well, logically, I guess it makes sense. But physically, how does that show up? how does that show up in our world? Because a lot of us, we get attached to the life we think we're gonna live. And we kind of hang our hat on that. No one expects ability to be taken away. Unless you're growing older gracefully, at least it kind of sneaks in. Anybody walk up some stairs and heard the knees go pop, pop? That's expected over time, although still hard to accept. But what about like my wonderful nephew, Cootie, who is just sitting there at a stoplight on his motorcycle, minding his own business. And this woman decides, oh, you know what? I don't even know the scenario, but she didn't control the vehicle she's supposed to control. And then it collided. Two vehicles cannot occupy the same space. So physics happened. And now he enjoys less use of all of his limbs, maybe in a diminished way. And I don't know the specifics since that's not the content here. Although let me tell you, when my sister called me, I did try to get into, okay, exactly what part of the spine was affected. I needed to know the medical. And then I was like, Shar, what are you doing? Such a geek. When traumatized, I go straight to well, let's look at the logic instead of, oh, my baby nephew, sweet. But he is the same person, if not bigger, now that the body has been diminished mobility wise. Creativity, the joy, the energy, the power that comes out of that young man, it's still staggering. He still lights up a room, and that smile will smack you in the face every time. He's the one that everybody talks about. I remember at my parents' house, we had my dad's, was it 90th birthday? It's all just running together, y'all. There was a birthday party, and we came over to my mom and dad's house, and he's in the living room. And everybody in the family is kind of like, we're very polite and we like each other a lot, and we all talk at the same time. So it's loud, but it's not very structured. It's not very structured. But there's Cootie sitting on the couch like, everybody come around. Let's go around the room and tell Grandpa exactly how he's amazing and how that's affected your life. Do you see? This is like, only he. And everywhere he goes, he brings that energy. So what does life do when life doesn't quite go down the straight and narrow path that you may have carved out for yourself? What happens when, whoops, change of course? What does that do? Well, there's a lot of people that will make something more amazing out of it. Listen, I'm going to tell you two things. One of them's funny because it's just like, wow, that's hilarious. It goes like this: don't let anyone convince you that you can't do something because of your disability. Listen, Beethoven was told he couldn't never be a musician, but he didn't listen. Get it? Jokes, because he couldn't hear. He was deaf. All right, work with me. There's another story that's more serious. This one, Tabitha Hayes, strong singing voice. So she had somebody who had a spinal muscular atrophy. She's never been able to walk, but she's always been able to sing. Her father introduced her to music when she was 3 years old. Tabitha Haley, who released her first album, I Wrote Life, is the name of the album, I Wrote Life, in 2019. She advocates for disability rights. She says that individuals with disability can declare, I can be someone, I can help someone, and I can be loved just like anyone else. So it doesn't have to stop. Why would we not? And then, of course, logically, why would it not be true? Why would that not be true? Now, how about this? Jerry Long, okay? Living testimony to the defiant power of the human spirit. He has been paralyzed from the neck down since a diving accident rendered him a quadriplegic 3 years ago. He was 17 when the accident occurred. Today, Long can use his mouth stick to type. He attends 2 courses at a community college via special telephone. He also occupies his time by reading, watching television, and writing. He says, I view my life as being abundant with meaning and purpose. He says, I broke my neck. It didn't break me. What? That quote alone, it didn't break me. It's amazing. And because we who have not been through that specific tragedy in that way, just look at it like, oh my God, that's terrible. Is it? Can it be used for something higher? Can it? Christopher Reeve, think about Christopher Reeve. He said, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. And it's this kind of mind, this kind of energy, this kind of spirit that they get it because they're living it. And when we get into the presence of someone who absolutely went through something that was devastating and then somehow gathers all the stuff that we have, we come from a space of wholeness. How can we express it in this new body, this newly changed body, whatever that is? If they can do that, what can we do? The inspiration is amazing. To be able to look at someone and say, now see, you had every right to just say, no, I'm going to be mad, I'm going to be mean, and I'm going to not work, and I'm not getting up. Every right. But then the running circles around us. The Paralympics are coming up soon. We get to watch a lot of that. We get to see all the ways in which people have really overcome physical limitations to sort of be amazing. And it's inspiring beyond belief. And so I would just hope that for me too, when I'm looking at my interconnection with life, that I am looking from a space of, this is a whole person. This is a whole loving, dear individual that has talents, because if they're here and they have any ability at all, then they can serve, they can help. And we know that when we help others and we don't hoard our good, that good that we give comes back tenfold. And I'd like to point out that that's not why we give, not exactly. I'll admit that giving is a bit of a high in that you feel good about having given of yourself. It could even just be a smile. It could be a charity donation. It could be anything. When we give, we feel good. And that could be the reason why we keep doing it. We keep giving because it feels good. Even if we give in a way that we don't get to see the face light up on the other end of the gift. We don't even, it could be anonymous. You could be paying it forward. Just knowing that they're going to be happy. Like I used to play with the drive-through. It's just go through and pay for the person behind me. It's risky because you don't know who's in that car. But usually it's fun if you get to the drive-through and the person in front of you paid for yours. And then you're like, oh my gosh, let's keep it going. Hoping that the person behind you doesn't have like a baseball team in the car, because that could get tricky, especially these days. It's the idea of, I am abundant. I am from something so big and so beautiful, so divine, so powerful that I have more than enough to help you. And from that, I have more than enough that I can help you. The universe always says what? Yes. The universe says yes. So here's how giving is amazingly helpful. And that's not why you give. I'm going to point it out again. You don't give so that you could get. You give and then you end up receiving. So the universe says, what? You have so much and you are so abundantly blessed that you have enough that you could give it. Yes, you have enough that you could give it. Here's some more. And oh, you have enough so you could give it. Yes, you have enough so you could give it. Here's some more. And then it also works the other way, though. If we don't give because we're afraid that we don't have enough, the universe says, yes, you don't have enough. And we have less. It's an insane agreement that we have. And then when we understand it, we're like, oh, is that why? Huh, it's true. Whenever I'm happy, people around me are happy, and then I'm happy, and then the joy kind of grows. When it's joyful, joy grows. But when people are nasty, I get nasty. If I allow it, if I'm not present, I will just vibrate down to their level. Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Sometimes when they go low, I'll go lower. And even low, we're going to the basement. So sometimes the energy just goes so low that then things, gifts that are right in front of us go unnoticed because we're complaining, because somebody did something, or we allowed circumstances to take away our joy, to take away our feeling of wholeness and oneness and giving. And now we're closing up. And then the universe just says yes, gives us more reasons to close up. It's insane, or I shouldn't keep saying insane because it's absolutely just law. It's just the law. And it's a reflective mirror. It gives back exactly what you place in front of it. Just a mirror. It's not the mirror's fault. So I'm just doing listen, I'm just reflecting what you gave me. Give me something different. You'll see something different, says the mirror. So what can we do? What can we do? We can embrace others, of course, embrace ourselves. Remember, it's the first step is noticing there's wholeness present. Wholeness is not the same as perfection. Remember that. Wholeness means there's a divine blueprint, a divine energy that's perfectly coming together as your life, as you. And it doesn't comport to the external idea of what we think is perfect. We talked about how that's just a moving target. Perfection is a moving target, and you'll never get there. It's an illusion. It's meant to distract us and maybe buy more product. As an aside, I noticed that the wellness industry is bound to reach a $7 trillion industry by 2025. 7 trillion with a T, because we've as a society said, well, I need to get better, so let me buy the thing, sign up with the thing, do this other thing, and pay for these products and services that help me be more wellness inspired. But what if we shifted that to wholeness inspired? Wholeness. What would that mean? It would mean you already have it in you. You don't need a new gadget to track all of the vitals, to do all of the things. How about just breathing, like Kristen took us through that meditation, becoming aware of our higher self and the wholeness that is present within ourselves. We rise up off of that meditation cushion and we show up in the world as a higher vibration, if you will. And then we're looking for the wholeness in others. We see it because we're looking for it. And then we give what people seem to need in that moment. Can I hold the door for you? Wait, can I grab your bags and help you across the street? What do you need? And giving that from a sense of, I have enough. Here, I have enough joy. I'm going to smile. Here's a smile. I have a lot of smiles. Do you want one? And that is how the universe keeps expressing through us the highest vision of itself. And that is, to me, heaven on earth. So let's think about that and let's feel into that as we go into prayer. And I'm looking to see prayer requests. Very good. And so as we go within and just kind of allow ourselves to rest into that sense of, I have enough. I am an emanation of the divine. Wholeness is my nature. No matter what my body is doing from day in and day out, I know that I am animated by a spirit of wholeness. And in this energy connected to the divine that is in and through each and every one of us, I know that we are each other's. We belong to each other. We're not separate from, different from, excluded from. We are all one. And we get to celebrate how each of us shows up in this world. We get to enjoy each other's differences. We get to be inspired by all of the amazing things that the human can do, the human spirit. I speak my word in this moment for health and wholeness for Tamara, that COVID makes its visit very short-lived. She is back on her feet, just smiling and healthfully just living her life. I speak my word for Uncle Mike, that he too is recovering at home with wonderful beings that are supporting him, and Kristen's family, just as they move through this time. And I speak my word for well-being all over this planet, that may this joy that is happening in the United States, and may all the healing unfold in such a way that is just spellbinding. I speak my word for peace and for safety for those in the path of any cyclones that may be happening in the Pacific at this time. And I know that this community holds each other in high esteem. We hold each other in prayer, and we know, and we think, and we just envision the highest and the best for each and every one of our community members. Because as a group, as a whole, we are the fabric that allows our lives to have the ebbs and the flows, and we are the comfort that we return to over and over again when we need support from people who see us and know us and love us just the way we are. This is the life we choose to live. And I'm so grateful for being able to make this choice with an awareness of wholeness. I release my word into the law, knowing that it always says, what? It says, oh, yeah. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
Hello, CSL Leesburg. I know Reverend Shar just dropped some magic on you. And so now I want to invite you to embody this song with me. Start with the rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. I am beautiful today. I am beautiful in ways no one else needs to see. I know. You sing that with me? I am beautiful today. I am beautiful in ways no one else needs to see. I know. I am magical today. I am magical in ways no one else needs to see. I know. I'm a miracle today. I am a miracle in ways no one else needs to see. I know I am.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared with our center. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. We are a tithing community. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Your donation helps our center, our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. We always are looking for suggestions of organizations that we should consider. You can go to our website and click give to suggest something. So please look at our screen. There are many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website and click on the donate button. And you can see the many ways. Now take your donation and hold it over your heart or hold it in your consciousness and join me with the blessing of our gifts. We thank you no matter how you're giving. Simply say, the presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact, and therefore I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And announcements, we have the dream study that is continuing. It's been going strong since 2021, maybe 5 years of dream studies, and it's still happening. And you can join the dream study to learn how your dreams can help inform you to things going on in your life. And any other announcements? Oh, okay, we're ready to end our sacred time together. So place again your hands over your heart and say, I am love. I am love. Now point someone near you or to our members or to guests on the screen and say, you are love. You are love. And now put your hands in the air for some love sprinkles and say, it's all love.
It's all
love.
love.
And if you can stay for a few minutes, please feel free to join us as we share our pearls, those little nuggets of the service that spoke to our hearts and minds. If you're a visitor, we'd love you to stay and introduce yourself. And if you have to leave us, we know that you will have a day filled with love, joy, and blessings. And thank you so warmly from the bottom of all of our hearts. We thank you for joining us today. And so it is.